Good afternoon, everyone. We are getting ready to play Baritone Ukulele. I am going to go share this with Twitter and I'm going to go post it on our website. And then we will be ready to rock. Copy, close. Let me run over here to jollyrogerukulele.com and we'll post the link for the class today. Today we got two pretty challenging pieces, actually. I have. I'm having Estudio by Tarrega and then the D major arpeggio. So both of those are challenging finger style pieces, and we will be making it. People will walk out of here with their heads spinning a little bit. I think. I hope. Control V. All right, got the link set up. All right. Link. Enter. Edit. Settings. Open a new window. Update. All right, so that should help get everybody in here. Lanny's already here. He's back, and he says I sound okay up in Greeley. So that's the good news. I'm going to start trying to speak more with a deeper voice and more authoritative to make people think that we're really onto something here. I figured out that I can, with one click, post to Twitter. Actually, two clicks. And so I'm starting to post our little classes every day on Twitter. We'll probably attract one person by doing that, and that's the person we're looking for. So now, in the last class, our advanced class, I was devastated when one of the Russian robots came through and said, "Man, you have a big forehead." And it turns out I do have a big forehead. So I'm now I'm going to have, when you're my age, my gender, and my how do you call it? Ethnic makeup. um, you don't really care what your forehead looks like. I don't know if they've informed Russia this yet or not, but couldn't really care less what my forehead. When I was 12 and I had this forehead, then I was sad. But now that I'm an old man, I don't honestly. If as long as I wake up alive, that's about as all I can hope for. Hey, we have to work on this today too. So we're going to start here in about a minute or two. Let me find I got a box full of markers from this shop. And we have to talk about it. You guys have a special type of tablet or clef. It's baritone only. Well, baritone and guitar. Let's see. Lanny's in. Jack is in. Baritones unite. Right. Diana's here. Diana took a photo. I haven't sent it to you. Cindy's in. Vic is here. Aging. Who cares? Who cares? I ain't no way I would ever go back. I am aware of the thoughts that were in my head when I was in my 20s. And I don't want that brain back. That was not a good brain. Michelina is in. Terry's in. Okay. I could stand my knees. I wouldn't mind having my knees back. That's something that has not gone well at all. Other than that, do not need to go back. All right, guys, baritone ukulele. This is exciting. I wanted to talk very briefly. Most of you guys are already logged in. We have a couple people missing. They'll catch up. Did you do it? Did you do it with knee? Oh yeah, fingers too. Yeah, I wouldn't mind having my 20-year-old fingers back. And outside of that, I think that's it. That's it. I don't want anything else from that 20-year-old guy back. He was a mess. Can you draw this without looking at it? That was your homework. Guys, be aware. Baritone is like guitar is written on the treble clef, but you're not really playing on the treble clef. You guys get this one. Okay. In the sheet music, sometimes you will see that I use this and sometimes not. So if I'm looking at baritone and I go to our Estudio, where's the Studio? It's not here. Let me go find it. Estudio by Tarrega baritone. If you look at the treble clef on Estudio, you will see there's a little 8 underneath it. Yeah, you didn't know about the tiny 8, did you? You see, I learned you something. So what that little 8 does is it says, hey, we're going to mark this on the treble clef. It's going to look like you're playing on the treble clef because the treble clef is what we like to teach you how to read. But you're not really playing on the treble clef. You're playing an octave below the treble clef. And so it's much easier to put it on a treble clef. We get pretty good at reading that. But for baritone and for guitar, you're actually playing on the octave clef. Okay, so you guys actually have to know that. Now, we have another thing we'll talk about that. Most of the time we just call it the treble clef. Sometimes it's called the G clef because the circle here goes through the G, the line for where the G notes are. You can't do this on the mirror. That's a G, right? And so it's sometimes called the G clef. And of course, there's lots of different clefs, bass clef, alto clef. I mean, there's some other more obscure clefs out there, but this is the one. This is sort of and now it's nice for baritone because the lowest note when you're on the octave clef, your lowest note's a D, right? It's going to be right below this. So your instrument fits really nicely onto this arrangement. And all we have to do is put an 8 on the bottom, and then we know, hey, you're going to play as if you are playing on the treble clef, but really what's coming out of your baritone is an octave below that. And you can do that. You can just go up to any piano, grab your baritone, go up to your piano, which of course you have tuned, and it's sitting there and you play it every day. But if you hit your low D, dong, and then go hit the D above middle C, they won't match. But if you go down to an octave below that, it'll match perfectly. So that's what you guys are up to. And that's why on Estudio, that little treble clef up at the top has a little 8 on the bottom. So that's why that's there, is to just remind you, hey, how we notate it and how you play, and how we notate it is how you're going to play it. Just know that your baritone is sounding out an octave lower than it. And it's not unimportant because these days with software, you actually do want to set that properly so that the instrument sounds correctly. So if you look at your key of D, major arpeggio, I've done it there as well. Then I write it as if it is on the treble clef, just everything's the same. But when I hit play and the computer prints out the sound file from that, it prints it out an octave below what it's actually notated at. So it's actually sort of a fascinating and fun thing to know about, that, hey, I read the treble clef, but I'm really not playing on the treble clef. So that's your little music theory thought for the day. The other thought for today is your homework. Okay, what notes go where? There's if second grade music class probably taught you this, but what are these notes? Okay, where do those notes? And in the spaces, what are the spaces? So some of you have had enough prior knowledge where you could just do that with that in your sleep, but others of you are going to have to think about it a little bit to see if you can figure out which notes go on here. I also need to know the name of this little line down here. Okay, what is that little line? What do you call that little line? And then what note sits on there? As baritone players, you don't have that note. That note is not on your instrument. Technically, it is. It's an octave off, but you technically have this note, but you don't notate that note. And so I'd like to know what that note is, and what that little line is called. Okay, so that's your music theory challenge for tonight. We won't do music theory every day, but we will. I'm going to just kind of keep you guys moving along. We'll just do everybody at the same time, same basic stuff. Music theory is music theory. It does not matter what instrument it is you're on. The only difference is that your notes are someplace different than on a different instrument. You and guitar share 4 strings that are the same, but not all the strings, and you share some of the same ideas as ukulele, but you're in a different key, and so the notes are all different in different places. That's the weakness of this system, is that as you go from instrument to instrument to instrument, you have to figure out where all of the things are again. Whereas with tablature, here's the strings, here's the frets, go and knock yourself out. And so tablature is actually a better system for what we do than standard notation. Now, Doesn't need you do need to know how to do both. All right, now let me give you a little pep talk. The stuff we have to do today, guys, is hard, and so I know that, and I want you to I want you to hug yourself and say, "I love you. It's okay. Get what you can out of this lesson today, and then we will move on." Okay. So what we're going to be doing today is pretty challenging stuff. Both of the pieces of music are high level. Okay. So grab key of D major, jumping fleet arpeggiator for the baritone ukulele. And we're going to get started on that. What we want to do here is be thinking about last week we did the key of C, for you guys, key of G arpeggio. And we learned, hey, we're going to use our best fingers and pluck those strings here. Sometimes we're going to pluck them together. Sometimes we're going to do this. And sometimes we're going to strum down and do that. And so we're going to take those same skills, but now we're going to expand them a little bit into some more complicated chords. And then we're also, instead of, we're going to use different strings sometimes, and we're going to use different patterns. Okay, so measure 1 on yours says measure 2, so let's call it measure 2. Just realizing I gotta fix the measure numbers. That's one of the last things I always do is fix measure numbers and check repeats, and if I can always know if I jumped the gun because the measure numbers are off. Fix measure numbers. Okay, so measure 2. Grab your D chord, index, middle, ring. Okay, and you see 0, 2, 3, and they're on the upper strings, right? So on your tablature, they're on the lower strings or on the lower lines, which means that's your upper strings. So you're going to have 0, 2, 3, and you're going to pluck all at once. And then you're going to pluck those same strings, but you're going to arpeggiate them. So 0, 2, 3, or thumb, index, middle. That's it. Okay, measure 3, you're going to put your B minor shape on. I find this shape to be challenging some days. And you're going to pluck the same 3 strings again, thumb, index, and middle. And then you're going to do middle, index, thumb. Okay, could you do this just all with your thumb? Yeah, but I don't want you to, right? We want to learn this skill set. Okay, measure 4, put your G chord on. And you notice I actually put the chord on, even though I'm not going to play that string. The reason I do, and especially on baritone, it has a lot of sustain and a lot of sympathetic vibrations among the strings. You do really want to hold the chord, because when you hit 0, 0, 0 on here, now this bottom string, even though you're not playing it, its sympathetic resonance is in the correct chord, and it'll sound better. If you leave this open, this is going to resonate in an E note, and there's no E in the chord of G, and it makes it sound less good. Okay, so grab your G chord, 3 3 3 0 0 0 0, thumb, index, middle. And then go grab your A chord, all 2s, and pluck. And this is the nice part about baritone. I don't have to talk to you about whether your fingers fit or not. Your fingers fit. Okay, 2 2 2, middle, index, thumb, and then go to your D chord and top the same 3 strings on top. Go to your B minor, same thing. G chord, A chord. Okay, so that's the first. So basically, measures 1 through 4, 1 through 5, 2 through 5 on this one are the same as 6 through 9. Okay, so we're all set. Let's keep moving forward. When you get to measure 10, you put your D chord on, but now you're not going to use these upper strings. You got to move down and use these lower strings. And so I'm going to pluck the G chord twice, 2, plunk, plunk, and then I got to do this bummer of a motion to get my pinky up here on 5. This goes directly to what Cindy was saying earlier. I want my 20-year-old fingers back. This is a bit of a stretch. It is not the hardest stretch you have to do, but it's definitely up there. And just to let you know, I do make guitar players do this stretch too, and they got to reach even further. So I want you to do your D chord, pinky on 5, and then let's pluck that twice. Oh, hey, Cozy, I didn't see you sneak in. Glad you're here. And then measure 11, we've got an A chord and still the bottom 3 strings. And notice those are half notes. They got holes in the middle. So those are worth 2 beats. Okay. Then you go to measure 12, put your D chord on, pinky up here on top. Or I'm sorry, no pinky at first. Bum, bum. then your pinky, and then your A chords again. This is a kind of a challenging moment, okay? We haven't dived into too much with bars yet, a little bit, but now is the time when that really comes to a place where you got to be able to do them, okay? So your bar is going to be on 3, just like the little sign says above there. You're playing a G chord, but we're now playing a different shape of that G chord. Bar on 3, see the little 3 FR there, third fret, and then you're going to put your E shape in front of it, so middle and ring up here. Okay, so that is, so we're used to doing G here, and now you're going to be doing it here. It gives a different inversion, a little different feeling to it. It's still a G chord, it's just a little bit more intense G chord. Okay, get that on. And I do really like you to use a full bar. So some of you have been around a while and you'll use a half bar, middle, and ring. That's okay, but it's better to use a full bar because then all of the other full bar shapes that you guys are going to end up living with as baritone players, you just are like, oh, I just make all my bars with a bar and it's faster and easier and I don't have to think. Okay, so here's your G chord. Play 4 of those. And then now don't lift up. Just take your shape and slide it up 2 frets, and then pluck 4 more. Okay, that's the new sort of thought process here. Okay, you'll get good at it. Then measure 60. We go back to the B minor. Grab all 4 strings. Thumb, index, middle. Measure 17. Grab your G chord. Thumb, index, middle. 18, your D chord. Thumb, index, middle. 19, thumb, index, middle. 20, the B minor. 21 is the G chord. 22. And finally 23. Okay. On Friday, we will play this as written. So we'll play all the way down to the 23. Then we'll go back and we'll play all the way again through. So let's go ahead and let's go back and play. And we'll play it as slow as I can. That's not true. I'll play it pretty slow. And then we'll just play from the top of the page down now without stopping. Okay. From the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeat on Friday. We'll play that and then we'll repeat. So we'll play that section twice. Then when you get to 24, if you look 24 through 31, you're like, oh wait, that's all just single notes. So when I'm playing single note melody and there's nothing super fancy about it, I'm probably going to go with my thumb. I just think I got a lot of control over it. I can get a nice tone out of it, and probably that would make the most sense for you. The one thing I am thinking about though is, hey, I'm playing in the key of D, unlikely to be any ones, so I'm going to probably do 2s and 3s and 4s and 5s, playing second position. That puts my pinky finger on 5, and sure enough, right off the bat on that first measure, I had 2 2 5 2 2 5 5 0 0, and then I'm going to have to go all the way up to 10. 7, 8, 9, 10. Here's my 10. Okay. I hate all this decoration on this instrument. Is the chord B natural or chord B natural? B natural minor. It's just B minor. You have to set the software, and those natural signs don't those confuse you. That's exactly right. When I reprint this, I'll take those naturals out. It's just B minor. It's just a B minor. Yeah, I apologize. The notation, it makes it. It's supposed to make it clearer, but I think it makes it less clear. So yeah, it's just a B minor. Okay, 24. Let's play just the melody and be thinking about your attack strategy with which fingers go where. Okay, so 2-2. Pinkies. Open. Pinky up on 10. 9. 7. Slide to 5. Grab your 7 again. And then go down to the 2. Okay, then you got 3 threes. And then a 5. And then a 2. 2, 3. 5. And then the 2 on the second string. Okay. So when you're playing melody like that, you want to keep the pacing really nice and beautiful and keep it clean. You want to have as nice a tone as possible coming out of that stuff. And yeah, so there's that. Okay, so that section not too hard to play, as long as you are mindful. Hey, I got to get up here to this 10, and then I got this 5 7 5. So probably 5 7 5 5 7 2. Try to think of the way that's going to cause you the least amount of commotion jumping all around with your fingers. All right, so there's that section. And then the last section, you'll see, again, the B natural minor shows up with that natural sign isn't helpful. I'll make those go away when I reprint this. We now have that wiggly line, right? That's the glissando that goes all the way back to Spaghetti Monster. So you're going to grab your chord, but instead of plucking, you're going to strum. You want to make sure every string is noticeable. Okay? That's beautiful. We're going to do a lot of that. It's different than that, right? Where you're trying to get all of them to sound simultaneously. This one, there's a little bit of a lag, so you can hear every string, single string, and that's important because that's going to make you sound like you're patient and creating beauty for people around you, and they're going to like that. Okay, so we'll play those types of things. Then you got a choice. Should I do strum down and then go to my plucking, which is one option, a good option, or should I just play my thumb? And I'm okay with you doing either of those. I'll probably just do my thumb. Okay, from 32, 1, 2, 3, 4. Strum, oh, 4, 3, G chord, strum, oh, 4, oh, strum, 2, 2, 3, A chord, strum, 2, 2, 2, B minor, strum, oh, 4, 3, strum, oh, D chord, strum, A. Now, there's no glissandos notated on here, so that means you're going to go back to your 4-finger claw with your D chord on, pluck everybody, and you're going to go make that A7, 2-0, 2-0, and then you got 3 D chords. You have a fermata. That's the little eyeball looking thing above your last chord. What that's telling you is, hey, not only is this the last chord, but I want you to hold it a while. What that says to me is, I'm going to hold that until this instrument completely dies out. And it could be a while, right? With baritone. Still going, okay? So then I might take my hand, bring it up over the saddle to get the strings to stop ringing out. Okay, thanks, Michelina. It's really a pretty piece. And there are other pieces in the book that are even prettier than this one, but this really is, when we talked about key of G arpeggio, that's teaching you how to play an arpeggio. When we get to this one, there's a little bit of everything in here to keep keep your toolbox moving forward. And so in the beginning, it's about, hey, getting your instead of plucking these strings, it's plucking these strings. Then it's about plucking, and then it's about switching strings, right? So first you're on the upper strings, then you're on the lower strings. Then it's about all four strings, and it's also now included a bar chord in here, which we didn't have prior in the last arpeggio. Then we're going to be talking about plucking four and doing an arpeggio with the claw, which will be different than what we probably will do down below where we're doing a glissando and multiple notes after that. We'll talk a little bit about playing melody through 24 through 31. Playing melody is the important stuff, guys. Getting it clean, pretty, and accurate. That's hard. And that's what you work on there. Obviously, switching from glissando then to back to claw down to there in measure 40. Got a whole lot of stuff going on in this piece. But really, when I wrote these pieces, I was writing them for myself. I wanted them to be nice songs. I wanted them to be pleasant to play, and I think this song in particular, it has a really nice way about it. So, so hopefully you'll continue to enjoy that. That's it. On Friday we'll play it as written, so all the way down to the repeat, go back, come back, and so on. So give yourself some time to work on that one. I'm going to push a little bit because the studio takes a bit of talking through as well. So let's move on to Estudio by Tarrega. All right, now let's see. All right. Now, Tarrega. You have a tough uke line, ignore it. Okay. I put it on there to amuse myself. It's really not something that I would expect you to play. Next thing, you have chords on here. I would probably ignore those too. I'd really be focusing. They're going to help you with certain shapes along here, and so they're there to help, but they're not something, because we don't have chords and lyrics, and we don't have lyrics on here, using the chords is of marginal assistance. They will help you organize your thoughts around which pieces of which organize your thought around how to place your fingers on the fretboard is what I'm trying to say. All right, we worked on this earlier this week, so hopefully you were there, and if not, you're about to get a whole heap and load of arpeggios in your face. Let's just walk through it, and then we'll play. Let's just do the first page separate from the second page. So first page, you're going to play down the bottom, then you're going to come back and play the top. Play it through a second time. So it's 0, 0, 0. And again, you don't want to use your thumb. That's not what that's meant for. You see a pattern, that means claw. Okay, 0, 0, 0. Then you add a 3, and then it's ring, middle, index, ring, middle, index. Here's where the card shape really is helpful. You grab your A minor and put your pinky on 3. That's actually an A minor 7th is what you're really holding here. And then it's the same thing, ring, ring, middle, index. Okay, while you're holding the 3, 3, 1, 2. Slide your pinky back to the 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2. And now this is the part we talked about before. You gotta just talk yourself into saying, all right, the B7 and the notes that I have to play in the tablature don't make any sense together. So you want to come up with a system, and here's the system you should come up with. Okay, so you're sitting there with this A minor with your pinky on 2. Just slide your pinky to the 5, put your ring on the 4, and your index on the 2. So it's P, pinky, then ring, then index, and you can actually put those on as your right hand is coming toward them, so you're not wasting any time and not missing any beats. 5, 4, 2. Then your middle finger is going to switch out for the 3, and then it slides back to the 2. And then that's it. So let's play measure 3 one more time just to make sure that you feel comfy with it. It's from the 5, pinky, ring, index, middle, ring, index, slide, middle, ring, index, and then go up to your 7, probably with your pinky, 3 times. Then we're going to go back to the same idea as in the beginning. O, O, O. Then the 3. 3 again. Same thing as before. A minor with your pinky on 3. Slide your pinky back. Do it again. Pinky up to 5. Ring on 4. Index on 2. Middle on 3. Slide your middle finger. And then you get this 0 all by itself. Let it ring a little longer than you think. And then a nice strum, a nice glissando E minor. Okay. Now I'm adding on a 2 on my tablature. Your tablature says 0, 0, 0. I've gone ahead and put the 2 back in on the upper part. I think it sounds nice just to do a full E minor chord there. Okay. All right, let's play from the top. When we play it on Friday, we will play this first page twice, and we'll play the second page twice. Okay, so let's just play this first page again in a nice slow pace and see how you do. 1. I'm counting to myself like I always do. 1, 2, 3. That's a good piece of music right there. Just that. If you just stop there and if you're Tarrega, you're like, nah, drop the pencil, right? That's beautiful. That's really, really well done. Really makes sense. To be perfectly honest, as I'm going through and I'm reading the tough uke, I'm just like, nah, I'm just going to delete the tough uke. There's no reason for that there. It's absolutely beautiful on its own. Now, on his, there would have been some work with the thumb on the bass strings. You don't have those bass strings, so you don't need them. It sounds fine anyway. Okay, so there's page 1. Let's go into page 2. Oh, hey, Valerie, welcome in. Made it back finally. Phew, glad you're here. All right, we're on page 2 of Tarrega. So then page 2 starts, at least initially, looks sort of the same, 0, 0, 0, and then 3, 0, 0, and then all of a sudden 7s. What? Okay, I'm going to recommend you write on your piece of music that your ring is going to be used for that 3 and then up to the 7. Okay, the reason you want your ring ultimately to end up on 7 because you've got some 8 notes and you're going to be using a bar on 5. So putting your ring on that 7 is going to make the most sense for the measure that comes after that. And then the other one that I recommend at measure, we'll talk when we get there. Okay, so let's do measure 1, 0, 0, 0. I'm sorry, measure 9. Sorry, 0, 0, 0. Then a 3. And then slide up to 7. Now add your bar on at 5. Okay, and you are supposed to also then reach over here and grab this note here, this 7. If you're playing the chord or if you're playing tough axe, don't do that. Just put the bar on. Okay. Okay, I'll be back on to measure 3. Linda, we'll do the measure 3 at the end here. Okay, let's keep moving forward, and I'll tell you what to write down on there, and it'll make it a little easier. Okay, so let's finish up with this page, and then we can go back and check that out. Measure 10. Okay, so you go on 7, drop a bar on here to 5, and that's 7, 5, 5. Lose this 7, 5, 5. Pinky up on 8. Now you're going to run down, grab your D7, just 2 and 2. Slide your ring finger forward to get the 3. And then here's the hard one. You got to put a pinky on 5, index on 3, and then your ring finger up on the other 5. Okay, so pinky, index, and ring. That's how you're playing that. So I have mine marked as PIR, pinky index ring. Okay. And then when you get to measure 12, you just have to lift it up. You're already on the 5. Come down to the 3, and then up to the 7. Measure 13, this all repeats. And Linda, pay attention because at measure 15, measure 15 is identical to measure 3. And so we'll go over, well, that'll be a great opportunity for us to revisit it. Okay. So when we get to measure 13, we just hit the 7, lose your 7, 0, 0, 0. And the 3, 3 again. A minor with your pinky. Slide your pinky back. Here's the tough measure. This is the one. This is the tough measure in the piece, without any questions. I think the last 3 notes in measure 11 are pretty challenging too, but this is really the tough one, and this is the one that Linda's asking about on measure 3. So I'm sitting here in my A minor kind of ish shape, and that's the chord we're playing. And then what I'm going to do here, pinky's going to slide to 5, and then my ring finger is going to be on 4. Index finger goes up to 2. It's very convenient because now my middle finger is available to get the 3 in the next piece of next little triplet. 3 there, and I just lift my pinky up. 3, 3, 4, 2. And then I slide back my index finger, or slide back my middle finger to the 2. And then, so that's how we would do 3. That's how we do 15, and there's one other place that shows up. Oh, it's the same in measure 7. Okay, so 3, 7, and 15 all have that challenging moment in there. And then measure 16, hit the 0, and again, nice big E minor strum. The first time through, I want you just to do a nice this. The last time through, when you get to that spot, you want to do a harmonic. You go up to your 12th fret, put your fingers very lightly over the in front of the 12th fret, the bar right above the front of the 12th fret, and do your harmonics there. Yeah, I don't see any way to pull off that measure without writing in your fingering. Okay, so when I go there, pinky, ring, index, middle, ring, index, middle, ring, index. You almost have to just say, that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it that way every time, and then just talk your fingers into knowing that that's their job once they get there. I think it'll help, Linda. Okay, so when we get to the bottom of 16 the first time, you're going to play. Now let's go back and play the second page, measures 9 through 16, the way you'll play it on Friday. Okay, so from the top, measure 9, sorry, not the top, measure 9. 1, 2, 3. Isn't that going to be nice? That's a really beautiful piece. All right, so that's today. Today's a brain drain, right? It's a whole lot of arpeggios, a whole lot of stuff going on, and gives you a chance this week to really start to dial in your right hand and get things going well for you in that regard. A brief discussion about reminding you about homework and that type of stuff and changes in the schedule. One, you're going to fill this chart out with the correct notes on there. Second, you are going to be practicing the stuff this week, which was we're practicing Estudio by Tarrega. That's the book 2 piece. Know who you are also. If this is too much, like this is over, this was hurting your head, don't do it yet, okay? Stick with book 1 stuff. We'll also, tomorrow we'll run through Vive la Compagnie one more time. And oops, I'm missing a G there. I better go edit that. I better put a G there. P Compagnie. Get a G on there. G. Update. So, oh, come on. You can update. There we go. All right. So now let's get the G on there. So tomorrow we'll play through Vive la Compagnie one more time. And then on tomorrow, the song we're going to be I'm going to use English now. The song we'll be studying is Simple Gifts. It's my favorite song, period. And I don't know why. I love it. We will study that one tomorrow. Much easier than the stuff we did today, by the way. But we are moving into the key of C for you guys, which is not a great baritone key, but it's something we have to deal with. So we'll be moving into the key of C for the next week. And then of course on Friday we play through everything. So you'll have you do your Make a Better bar. We will probably talk about the baritone circle of fifths tomorrow or Friday in relationship to Simple Gifts. It's a 2-chord song, so I want you to look at that circle of fifths and say, all right, how would I do this if I was going to transpose this song? How can I use that tool to help me understand how to find different keys for songs? And then of course on Friday, Estudio, Vive la Compagnie, all through the night, Home on the Range. We'll play the key of D arpeggio as written, and then of course Simple Gifts. So Friday is going to be beautiful. Yes, every single thing on that list is like, oh, I'm excited about all that stuff. I would say if you're working on your own today, just be really mindful that this hand as a claw and doing patterns with it is going to take your baritone playing way beyond what most ukulele players are able to do, and certainly beyond what most guitar players will do. Only upper level guitar players even talk about that stuff. Classical guitarists, fingerstyle guitarists, jazz guitarists, folk guitarists, they generally don't do that, which is weird because it really sounds beautiful behind your voice when you sing. And it's just one of those tools that you can really use to great advantage. And then I do want to remind you guys, I am going to have to make a change in my schedule. Things are a little too wonky for me, and so I know some of this will blow some of you out, and others would be like, whatever, doesn't matter. But I got to move this time slot earlier, so I'm going to put this at the 10 a.m. time slot, not this week. And not next week. I'm not here at all. I'm going to post a bunch of sheet music for you guys to get started on Christmas music, and you'll be working on that on your own next week. And then the week after that, we will be at the 10 a.m. time slot. I need to get this stuff up earlier so that I can use this time to write music. That's where I'm running into a challenge. I don't have a block of time to get my writing done properly, so I'm rushing around every morning trying to madly get stuff written and onto the page, which is working, but it's not pleasant. So I'm here for the pleasantness, and so I'm going to move you guys to the 10 a.m. time slot. I hope that doesn't blow you out, but I just got to get my life a little bit more sane. So we'll be doing guitar at 9, you guys at 10, and then the rest of the schedule will stay the same. That's that. So again, Friday is coming. Make sure you've had a chance to review all of the pieces on there, and you got beautiful music this week. And then next week we start Christmas music, and then the week after that we will move to the 10 a.m. time slot. So thank you guys for being here. Let's stick together. We are the baritone people. There's not that many of you out in the real world doing this, and you have the secret, right? You know how to play guitar and ukulele at the same time, and not have to work quite as hard as some of those other things, and just enjoy making music. And when you're enjoying making music, usually you make music better. And so I play guitar, but I don't play great guitar because I'm so busy fighting the instrument. So that's that. That's what I know. I'm glad you guys are here. Hopefully everything makes sense. And let's see, where did I leave off? So Linda, I think we're good on measure 3. We talked about it as measure 15, but it's the same thing. Let's see. And Terry says, thank you, Terry, for being here. Terry's my neighbor. One of these days we'll be standing in line in the grocery store and be like, that son of a bitch is not keeping, that son of a gun isn't keeping 6 foot at distance. And he'll be like, hey, I know you. And I'll be like, I don't know you. And you'll be like, yeah, you know me. He could tell my face, right? I look like this in real life. Um, uh, he might look like George Clooney. I don't know what Terry looks like. Then let's see. Vic, thanks for being here. She's holding down the fort up there in Oregon. Cindy's okay with 10 a.m. Good. That makes me happy, Cindy. It would make me happier if it wasn't okay. Just kidding. Right. Linda. So we do change with the time slot or with the time change. So November, whatever, the day after Halloween, there we're going back to standard time, right? We're on daylight time right now. So yeah, we will go back to standard time. Most everybody in the country does that, I think, except Arizona. So yeah, we do the time switch on November 1st. And so probably that next week we'll miss a few people on different time schedules. This time thing, honestly, it's the weirdest part of this entire YouTube thing is that, gosh, I want it where people can come and do this. But it's my time here and your times there could be significantly different, and it's really hard. So, all right. Lanny says the Estudio is great. The Estudio is great. It is great. It's a fabulous piece of music. If I ever meet Francisco in hell or heaven or wherever we end up, I'm gonna give him a hug. That's why I'm just going right up to him and hugging him. That's a beautiful piece of music. Linda, thanks, Gary. Still having fun learning the baritone. Yeah, we got to really work this pinky. My pinky, as I've talked to you guys a lot, has gotten some pretty decent arthritis going in there. And it's not always pleasant, right? And you do know also if that's, if at some point it's just like, ow, this is really hurting, we start to simplify pieces. You do not need to do every single thing as a tough fugue piece at all. All right, Cindy. Cindy's laughing at me. All right. And hi. All right. All right. Nice. Cool. All right, guys. Have a wonderful day. You're out of here. You're out of here 1 minute early. All right. Cool. All right. See you guys tomorrow.